What difference does it make if God exists?
Whoa, slow down, Maurice.
I don't know where you sit on the whole God thing, and maybe you look around at people who believe in God and you think to yourself, well, actually, I treat people better than they do. What difference would it make if God existed? Well, philosopher Francis Schaeffer attempts to answer this question by giving the illustration of a house. He says, hey, imagine this house has 2 stories, and on the lower level, there's the physical world that we live in. Now, the physical world, by definition, there's nothing beyond it. He said, yet, for some reason, physical beings like you and I, we look for meaning and purpose and value in our lives. Yet because those things go beyond meaning, he says there must be an upper level to the house where meaning, purpose, value, and ultimately God exists, because those things seem to transcend our physical world.
Somewhere in their 5th dimension.
And so what Francis Schaeffer would say is, what difference does God make? He said, well, without God, or without something beyond the physical world, we unfortunately can't have ultimate meaning, ultimate purpose, and ultimate value. What questions does that raise for you? Do you find the illustration helpful? Let us know in the comments. Run the intro. Welcome to the video. Why don't you like it? And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel, because over the next couple of videos, we're going to be asking this question and exploring, is it possible that God exists? So if you subscribe, you won't miss any of that content. In this video, I want to explore some of the challenges that arise if God doesn't exist. Now, I'm not saying there aren't challenges if God does exist, but before we even adopt a worldview that says, hey, maybe it's possible that God exists, I think it's important for us to see the consequences of living in a world or adopting a worldview that says there is no such thing as God. The first challenge is that if God doesn't exist and there's no ultimate meaning, no ultimate value, or no ultimate purpose. Now, what I mean by ultimate is objective. Objective means that it is true for all people at all times in all places. For example, water is H2O is an objective truth. That's true regardless of whether you think it's true or not. McDonald's being better than Hungry Jack's, well, that's a subjective truth depending on who you ask. So when I say that if God doesn't exist, our lives have no ultimate meaning, value, or purpose, I'm talking about it in the objective sense. Sure, in the short term, if God doesn't exist, our lives can have the appearance of meaning and value, but in the long term, in thousands and thousands of years' time, there will be no objective meaning to our lives because we'll be gone. And our lives ultimately won't have mattered. The second challenge to God not existing is that we have to live in a way that is inconsistent with our beliefs. The British philosopher Bertrand Russell said it this way, that if we want to live as if God doesn't exist, then we have to live in a constant state of unyielding despair. What he means by that is because God not existing means that we can't have ultimate value, meaning, and purpose in the world, he says ultimately we'll be unhappy because we all crave these things. But he would say if we are happy, it's because we've smuggled meaning, value, and purpose into our lives, which he would say means we're living inconsistently with our beliefs about the world. Others have expanded upon the work of Russell and come up with the term a noble lie, which is a lie that compels us beyond our own self-interest and ego. But they say that ultimately it's a lie because it infuses the word with meaning and value. Funnily enough, if someone wants to say that God doesn't exist and live their lives with meaning, the only way to do it is self-deception. Now, pointing out some of the challenges in a worldview in which God doesn't exist isn't an argument for God, nor is it a good reason for you to believe that God exists. Those things will come in future videos. But I do hope this video at least gets the ball rolling for you and gets you thinking about some of the consequences that will result if you choose to adopt a worldview in which God doesn't exist.